Rich white guys in the United States of America might be the luckiest demographic in all of human history, really. This was on display earlier this week when it was announced that Florida prosecutors have decided to work out a plea deal with Robert Kraft, the Trump-loving owner of the New England Patriots. In case you're not familiar with it, a couple weeks ago, Robert Kraft was arrested as part of this undercover sting that had been going on here in the state of Florida. There was this massage parlor chain that was also offering some prostitution services. Robert Kraft, I think on 2 occasions, I believe it was, decided to take them up on that offer, got arrested for solicitation of prostitution as part of the sting that caught several dozen people, actually. In fact, there's some pretty big names on that list that have not been released yet, too. But nonetheless, prosecutors in Florida said, all right, Robert, we know you've pleaded not guilty, but here's what we're going to offer you instead. If you just admit that you would have been found guilty if this thing went to trial, we're going to let you go. You're a rich white guy. You own what is arguably the best football team in the United States today. Why don't you just tell us that you would have been found guilty, and then you can go ahead and skedaddle back up to New England. That is the plea deal that they've offered him. But they also said, well, why don't you read, the evidence and the charges that we have against you to make sure you're comfortable saying I would have been found guilty. Then after that, all he has to do is go through an STD test, 100 hours of community service, and take an online course or something so he knows prostitution is not something you should go out and solicit. And then you're good. To me, this reminds me a lot of the Jeffrey Epstein case. And I know it's not as disgusting, but that also originated from prosecutors down here in the state of Florida who seem to have no problem with men having sex with people who they shouldn't be having sex with. Epstein got 13 months in prison. Robert Kraft is about to get off scot-free. I guarantee you this special little plea deal isn't going to be offered to other people who got wrapped up in this sting, but it will be to Robert Kraft, just like it was with Jeff Epstein, who was allowed to leave prison for half a day, 6 days a week. Why? Because they're wealthy white men. And wealthy white men do not face the same kind of justice here in the United States as everyone else. Thanks for watching, everybody. And don't forget, if you like what you see here, like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. And now you can also become a member of Ring of Fire and get exclusive early access to certain Ring of Fire videos all throughout the week. Just click on the little join button right below the video.